So this is the very first episode of Marketing Moments by MVP Grow. I'm 𝗖𝗍𝗩𝗏𝗂, and today I'll be going through a short recap of what's happened in the world of lead generation during the first couple of months of the COVID-19 outbreak and the months following it. So I'm going to share with you my insights from running dozens of campaigns during the last few months for various B2B tech companies, and I'll also share a nifty little tool that helps me better understand the impact of other advertisers on my own campaigns. So the first real impact of COVID-19 on digital lead generation was observed in March. There was a lot of uncertainty in the air, and advertisers were beginning to reel back and reassess the situation before they were ready to commit to any particular lead generation channel, audience, campaign. And this was especially the case with travel and retail. So as expected, in early March, we saw CPMs, which in case you don't know is an acronym for cost per millennia or cost per 1,000 ad impressions. So that dropped by 44% from its 6-month high. Now this low was only rivaled by April's CPMs, which were down 63% from the 6-month high. Now if you're a savvy advertiser, these low CPM numbers point to a clear opportunity for lead acquisition at a lower cost per lead. So you might be thinking, well, but wait, I'm a B2B tech company. My target audience wasn't impacted by a decrease in ad spend for travel and retail advertisers. So your target B2B buyer persona is probably also a B2C buyer persona. On platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Google Display, and others, you were and you still are competing for those eyeballs with B2C advertisers. And I can tell you that some of my accounts at MVP Grow decided to double down and even triple down on their digital ad spend during March and April, and they saw the best results they've seen over a 12-month period. Now, the tide started to shift in May, but it wasn't until June that we started to see a real shift in cost per lead, right? So if during March and April we were seeing a decrease, we saw CPMs go down significantly by 63%. It was in June that we started, in late May and in June, that we started to see a real shift in cost per lead to numbers before COVID and even higher. You may be experiencing the same yourself. So what actually happened? First, tech and B2B tech were not impacted as other industries. Once tech companies realized COVID might be more opportunity than risk, they rushed back into the ad market. Second, with conferences being shut down for the foreseeable future, it was clear that if B2B tech companies wanted to reach their goals, they needed to shift marketing budgets online. And third, according to Forbes, engagement on social media has been higher by 61% over normal usage rates. So consumers and B2B buyers are more on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and news websites than they ever were before. So basically what we have is a perfect storm being created, and that is being personified by the highest CPMs we're seeing over a 6-month period. And after being down 63%, in late May and early June, CPMs were up by 56% compared to the April lows. So if you're seeing an increase in your cost per lead during those times in May and in June, you're not alone. And now if you're wondering where I'm getting the CPA data from, I'm using the 𝗖𝗍𝗩𝗏𝗂 ad revenue index, which I'll also add a link to in the first comment. And I'm going to switch over to it right now. So this is the 𝗖𝗍𝗩𝗏𝗂 ad revenue index, and it's a free tool designed to provide digital publishers with benchmarks on their RPMs, which is revenue per millennia. So if advertisers have CPM, then publishers have on their side RPM. And it's basically a marketplace of advertising. And as you can see, you have the numbers here. We can open this up a little bit further, all the way till December of 2019. So obviously after the holidays, we saw a decrease in RPM for publishers, which usually translates into a decrease in CPMs on the advertiser side. You pay less for ads, they make less money. And that went even lower in the early months of COVID. And then that started to go higher during May and even higher during June and reached a peak in late June. And since then, it's been going down and it's plateaued a little bit to where we are at right now in early July. Now you may ask also, why don't I just use my own account data in LinkedIn or in Google or in Facebook or anywhere like that to basically see what CPMs I'm paying? So you'll get my answer in the second comment. That's pretty much it. So if you found this useful or you enjoyed hearing me talk about CPMs, then please like, share, or better yet, let me know what you think in the first comment. Thanks, and that was our first marketing moment.